Hello, I'm back with another video. Um, for somebody so busy like me, it's not really easy recording videos. Um, but yeah, I try my best to find any opportunity really. Anyway, today we will talk about what it's like to be in an interracial marriage. Because as you know, my wife is Polish. I live in Poland. We have mixed kids. Uh, and it's not everybody's story, right? Having such a story, such circumstances. So my wife is Polish. How did we met? We met back in school when I was still studying my bachelor's degree. She was also studying at the same time. She was 3 or 2 years junior to me. We met at school, dated for a couple of years, moved in together, and then pregnancy happened, and then we got married. And now another child was also born. Married for 3 years. It's going really well. It's getting better over time. Now let's talk about challenge, especially in the earlier times. Obviously, Poland and Ethiopia are very different countries, right? Completely different backgrounds. Ethiopia, very conservative country. Poland to some degree as well, but more conservative, much poorer. People are a lot more religious. Poland, on the other hand, is more Western, conservative to Western degree, but still Western. Different family values, you know. For example, in Ethiopia, kids are like an investment to the family. So family invest their time and money on kids and expect that favor to be returned when the kids grow up. So you're supposed to build a house for your family, take care of them when they age. On the other hand, in Poland, that is not an expectation. In Poland, families have the responsibility. It's not an investment, it's a responsibility to raise their children and support them lifetime. It really doesn't end when they move out. So when they move out, for example, families usually sponsor the wedding, buy them apartments, help them with starting their lives. When they give birth to children, they take care of the grandchildren, later support their grandchildren education, and so on and so on. So very different countries. I, on the other hand, had I think very little know-how of how my relationship was gonna be. I don't think I was fully prepared. It was a bit of culture shock. For example, public display of love. I did, exposing myself too much, but didn't have much dating experience before I met my current wife. Maybe a couple of dates in Warsaw before that. In Turkey when I lived there, nothing very formal, but some dates. In Ethiopia I was just too busy studying, so I didn't have many dates. Some pretty girls here and there, just I felt so attracted to, but that's all. So public display of love, for example, kissing in public, holding hands in public, hugging while walking, that was all new to me. But that was also very important for my wife because it's in their culture. She felt like I was not proud enough to be studying with her because I wasn't kissing in public. You can imagine what difference that can create. It can affect her confidence, for example. Yeah, cultural differences. Possibly for an Ethiopian girl that would be absolutely fine, because how does dating really work in Ethiopia? As much as I remember, young couple meet hidden from eyes of their parents, people who know them, walk in the dark when they feel like it's safe enough. Safe enough, not in sense of being mugged or anything like that, but from eyes. Different culture. So for me, just jumping in and showing my love in public was a big culture shock. I came to learn slowly. Another thing is related to what I mentioned earlier. So responsibilities that come with having to support your family back home. family to some degree becomes a burden, right, to us as immigrants. There is something called family tax. So there's an extra tax that goes into your income because of your families and friends and you know, this wide family, what is it called, extended family, uncles, cousins and such. So how do you explain that to a white person with no such background? You know, they don't have stuff like that here, so that can put a hurdle to your relationship. They may feel like you're not focused enough here, you don't see whatever you're building here as a family, but your family is far away, your heart is elsewhere. That can put pressure, but it takes a lot of discussion, conversation, and explaining, understanding the cultural differences to clear out such thoughts. What else do I remember from early times? Yeah, a lot of inexperience on my side, honestly, with handling women. I mean, anyway, how can you handle women, right? They are very complex. That doesn't always have to be with with an interracial relationship, but that could be between any two couple, honestly, man and woman. Language barrier. Yeah, it wasn't a piece of cake for me going and integrating with her family. Her family are some of the sweetest people. Yeah, I didn't feel like people felt the difference in color that I have to her, right? People accepted me completely. They welcomed me. I was just a student, a poor little boy who was dating their girl. Yeah, I really didn't have much to show off, but they fully accepted me, made me feel welcome. I really appreciate that. That helped me later feeling more and more comfortable. But at the same time, the fact that we didn't have free conversation, I always needed her translations, especially in the beginning, or had to use Google translators or whatever. That made it hard, right? Because you don't want to be in a place sitting for hours where people speak in a different language which you don't understand. I feel isolated. I sometimes feel sleepy, and she felt like I don't like her family because of it. Do you see my point? I remember when she went to Ethiopia and she had to stay with my mom and my sister and some other people when I had to do some paperwork at States. She felt the same way. Yeah, so that comes with language barrier. Another point is differences when it comes to sense of humor, for example. Things that she says may not be funny to me, which she believes would be funny to any Polish person. Of course, she also has to translate those things to English, so then it maybe lose some part of its humor. The same goes for me. I don't think I'm a very funny person, but I can be funny sometimes, and she doesn't laugh. But sometimes she gets surprised when I say something really funny, and she laughs. Anyway, such connection, sense of humor is really important in a relationship, which can be a challenge when you are in mixed relationship, interracial relationship. Another thing is, it's a different thing when you marry somebody who grew up with you, who you can speak about anything with. Yeah, you can talk about your childhood, high school, primary school, church if you went to the same church, your town, another city that you know both of. But if you marry somebody from a completely different background, it becomes hard to converse. So it took us some time to really build such similar background. Now we can talk, of course. We have 6+ years of relationship. We know we have lived most of those days within those 6 years together, made a lot of memories, traveled together, went here, saw almost all of Poland. Our children came, stories related to them. There is a lot, but you don't get to this point overnight. and having nothing common to talk about can make it so hard, because what are you gonna do, right? Just watch movies, just keep going. Conversations won't be as pleasant as it would be otherwise. So you should always be careful about these things. Talked about the challenge, but otherwise it's the most enriching experience of my life in so many different ways. I cannot tell you. I have developed, I have become a completely different person. I have a complete, I was always a hardworking person, smart, at least at high school. I kind of proved that. But I was lacking so much in life, because our education system, for example, will focus only on what happens at school between paper and pen. They don't teach you much. We in Ethiopia grow up without learning much in life, really. No social skills, no life skills, nothing. So I had a complete relearning to do when I came here, and there isn't a better opportunity than to share life with somebody like that to learn. So you learn about different diet, you learn about different way of life, different way of thinking, so many different skills, including language, of course, tools, how to solve certain problems, how to do gardening, how to do farming, how to drive a car, how to ride a scooter, a bicycle. I knew back in Ethiopia, but even that, these people are, in my honest opinion, so much better than us, a lot more advanced than us. They have had so many different life challenges to face as a society, and pass through that. I think life is easier generally in warmer countries than here. So I believe, as a society, developed a lot more survival skills than us. So it gives you a lot of opportunities to learn. Yeah. So and that adds some spice to your life, to your marriage. Marriage becomes a lot more exciting and interesting, because there is a lot of learning to do, a lot of discussion to do. Every day is a I wouldn't call it a challenge, but every day is exciting. So if I had to do it again, I would do without a second thought. I would just jump right into it. Maybe do a few things better, but otherwise I would never change how my life went. Yeah. I wasn't prepared for this video. It's just from top of my head. But I'm sure if you are on similar path, or thinking about dating a Polish woman, or maybe any woman actually from another background, or a man, it could be a woman, right, listening to my video, then I hope this gives you a motivation, and or if you are facing issues in a relationship, in such a relationship, I hope it gives you hope that issues are natural and normal, because people are different. Even in the same family, between a brother and sister, you would expect a conflict. So I hope this gives you hope that things like that are solvable, and you can get through them and have really beautiful family out of such relationships, because I consider my family the most beautiful thing in the world. I mean this. We will come back on this topic again if time allows, and I believe there are so many things that I can discuss on this channel. So subscribe to my channel and share with your friends and the ones you love. Have a good one. Bye bye.